Hey everyone, Josh here. Me and Trevor realized that we did not issue a spoiler alert at the beginning of this episode, so we are adding it in here before the intro. Please note that this is a Harry Potter reread and there will be spoilers. We will be discussing things such as theories and foreshadowing and whatnot, so later parts of the series will come up during our discussion. Now, with that said, thank you for listening and we hope you enjoy. Welcome to Hedwigs Army, a Harry Potter podcast all about the magical wizarding world and our take on it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hedwigs Army. I'm Josh.
And I'm Trevor. And this week, we're going to read Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass.
So hop on your hippogriffs, get your brooms ready, and let's soar right on in. To start off this week, we actually get to start our new segment called The Magical Memory. We have one of those, and we're going to go ahead and get it in. Let me go ahead and pull it up. And we want to let you all know that we just got on iTunes.
Heck yeah,
finally.
guys.
So you can find us on iTunes finally. And when you find us on iTunes, make sure to give us how many stars, Trevor?
5.
5. Please give us 5 stars. If you hate us, please give us 5 stars and tell us that you hate us. That's fine with me. Hopefully you don't hate us because we want to do the best job we can. But seriously, rating on iTunes will help with the growth so much. So please make sure to get on iTunes.
And if you have the time, go ahead and write us a review. And, if you don't end up giving us 5 stars, let us know why. So that, we have a better understanding of what our audience would like to hear from us.
Right. So we're also on Facebook now and YouTube. So make sure to check us out, Hedwigs Army, on all platforms like that. Make sure to give us a little check and see what you guys think of that. We're going to be doing vlogs and things like that on YouTube. So, if you want to see a little bit more of us, feel free to check us out there. So now it's time for the magical memory.
It's just a memory. Amazing! This is just like magic!
This week's magical memory comes from our friend Heather, and she says, I watched Harry Potter and the Sorcerers Stone in the movie theater in 2001. I loved it immediately. Was so excited, I got all dressed up and my mom curled my hair in 2002 to see Chamber of Secrets. It was then that I read the books for the first time. Since, I've read the entire series at least 7 times, and I have read many related books, like The Tales of Beedle the Bard, Quidditch Through the Ages, and so on. The world of Harry Potter was an amazing escape when I was a kid and going through rough times. I used to draw characters and chapter artwork as a kid as well. As I've gotten older and busier, I've lost touch with my love for the series. I find the world that J.K. Rowling has created is truly magical. I'm so excited to continue listening to Hedwigs Army. Thank you, Heather, very much for your story and for your support with the podcast. Sounds like kind of similar to something that was like my story where I saw the movies before I read the books. But I feel like that's probably a lot of people because who likes reading? Okay, alright, fine.
This guy right here.
So we got 1 bookworm out of 2. I guess that's not bad.
I mean, like her, you grow up, you get busier, and work gets in the way, so by the time you get home from work, you're just so tired. You're like, I'll just read it tomorrow. Right.
But you can sit down and watch a movie easily, eat some popcorn, have some fun, things like that.
365 tomorrows later, like, oh God, it's been a year.
Right, yeah, it's been a year and I haven't watched. It's kind of like how watching Fantastic Beasts was. It's like, oh, Fantastic Beasts, I'll watch that later. I'll wait for it to come out of theaters. When it comes out of theaters, I don't have time right now, I'll watch it later. And next thing you know, months later, I'm finally watching it because everyone's talking about it and I'm behind. So So once again, thank you, Heather, for that story. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the chapter summary now. So let me get that pulled up here. So this week, as Trevor said, we're going over chapter 2. So go ahead, Trevor, and take it away.
Well, chapter 2 starts off with a time skip, a 10-year time skip to be exact. We find out that the house looks almost the same as it did, 10 years ago. Something that they actually say in there was a little difference was the baby pictures. But how J.K. Rowling, describes it. Give me one sec. I'll pull up my. It's a hilarious description. It's the pictures of what looked to be a large pink beach ball wearing different colored bonnets. I find that description to be hilariously funny.
Right? Oh man.
Like Josh was saying on last week's chapter summary, that when J.K. Rowling kind of roasts one of her own characters, she does it with flair.
Right, she don't go small, put it that way. But I mean, that just kind of shows, right from that, it just shows you what kind of people we're dealing with Dursley. 10 years past, 10 years. In the last 4 years, I have moved twice. Let's say 5 years. I've moved twice, gotten married. I've gotten 2 cats. I have basically changed almost my entire life around in 5 years. 10 years, and nothing's changed. Not only on Privet Drive, the place they live, but the house. That seems, I don't know, that just shows that they are very set, normal,
did nothing,
can be people.
Did they not move a couch around for fun?
Right, no, they don't do anything like that.
I know that the story is set in the, the 80s. Maybe it was just, different time. But I'm pretty sure even then, most people tried to move something around. We also happen to find out that the Dursleys don't have a single picture of Harry.
Nothing. Which, I just want to say, you're going to hear this a lot in this chapter. Neglect, ? Nothing. They pretend he doesn't exist to the point they don't even have a picture of him. That's not some kind of childhood abuse.
So if you heard a noise in their house and you didn't know where it's coming from,
it's
you'd be like, oh my god, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost. Well, no, not with them. They don't believe in ghosts. Come on. It's probably, it's just that, they're the kind of people, that's just a house. It makes creaks. No, no pictures. That's, growing up and seeing pictures of a whole family that you're part of and you're not even in the pictures, it's gotta be, mindfully, it's gotta be a lot to take in. It's gotta be painful. So, I don't know, I think that's just one of the very many forms of neglect that you're gonna hear throughout this chapter alone.
And then cut to Harry waking up with because Miss Dursley is waking him up with a knock on the door. But before she wakes him up, he's having a dream about a motorcycle, and not just any motorcycle. It's, obviously he doesn't remember completely yet, but what he's remembering is when Hagrid picked him up.
Right, the motorbike that he borrowed from young Thaddeus Block.
But when Petunia wakes him up, it's so that she can cook breakfast for Dudley's birthday.
Right.
Which is interesting,
Specifically, he's got to watch the bacon.
Well, and it makes me think, because in the book, it says 10 years later, and what makes me think of that is, so 10 years after you picked him up. You found him on your doorstep. So you're saying 10 years from that. So the day that she walked out and screamed, he's a baby on her doorstep, is that supposed to be Dudley's birthday? That's interesting.
True. mean,
really interesting thought to think
yeah,
about.
I don't know if they meant 10 years exactly from the day, but they could have. It doesn't say that it wasn't 10 years from the day.
Was that...
There might be there might be more evidence behind that somewhere. I'm sure somewhere it lists it gives you a good idea of what day the Potters died, and that was obviously the same night. So, if any listeners, if you have something, if we're missing something here, please feel free to reach out to us on any of our platforms and let us know what we're missing.
And, of course, this is a little messed up, but was that Dudley's birthday present 10 years ago?
Happy birthday, someone for you to pick on. I mean, that'd be a pretty good present for Dudley, I would say.
Because we do hear in later in the chapter that, Dudley's not the greatest kind of guy.
Right. He's also a little spoiled, but...
Just a little bit.
Although, then again, nothing about Dudley is little, so... You'll see. But, yeah, So she wakes him up to watch the bacon cook, whatever you want to call it, for Dudley's birthday. I can barely cook hot dogs in the microwave. And I'm 24 years old. So you're gonna trust this 10-year-old to not burn the bacon?
A little Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, a little Gordon Ramsay in the bacon. There we go. Well, no, Dudley would be the Gordon Ramsay. He's already got the temper, but I'm sure he can eat all he wants. I bet you he can't even make hot dogs in the microwave. So, moving on. As he wakes up, Harry moves a spider from his socks, and we find out that Dudley's presents pretty much hide the table. Now, I have a couple comments about this, but I'm sure that the Dursleys' house probably has a pretty big dining table because they, as you will see, they are pretty well off.
Oh, yeah.
So that gives you an idea of how many presents he has to have if he's covering the table.
I believe it says...
36.
2 less... Oh, right.
36, but last year I had 37.
God.
Yeah. So, by the way, spiders where Harry's sleeping,
And
which is in the cupboard under the stairs.
Well, and they even mention in there, he didn't seem to fear spiders, and I thought it was funny because when we get to book 2, The Chamber of Secrets, there's some interesting things that'll happen there.
Right.
That make you question...
Cough, cough, Aragog.
Right?
Right.
Sorry, we forgot to announce spoiler alerts. If you just happen to start on episode 2 instead of episode 1.
Right.
Spoilers.
Right, yeah. And I'll make sure to add that into the beginning of this recording. Just a spoiler alert. So, that's okay. But, in case you missed that, spoiler alert.
Not spoiling too much.
Yeah. We spoiled. It's fine.
I wonder what Ron would have done.
Ron?
If he was on the
no. That wouldn't work. I mean, I wouldn't want to either. I don't like spiders either. But, again, he's living in a room with spiders and a cupboard under the stairs. I mean, I don't even gotta say anything about that one. If that's not obvious child neglect, as you'll find out, Dudley has 2 bedrooms, so there's no reason that, even if you don't like him, he's still living in your house.
Yeah.
Someone needs to call child protective services on these guys. Anyways, moving on, even with so many presents, Dudley decides to throw a tantrum until the Dursleys decide to get him 2 more. I don't know if I've ever had 36 birthday presents in a year. I don't know if I've had that in my lifetime from my parents. Maybe, but I'm not even 36 yet. I don't even know if I got 3 presents in a year for my birthday. So, we will see that, he's, as I said, spoiled. Alright guys, sorry we had to take a small little break because we had a little accident, a little spill on aisle 9 over there. But we're back. And we are talking about chapter 2. Let me pull them back on up here. So we're talking about the fact that Dudley has more gifts than probably me and Trevor combined.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, he's a spoiled little brat, as you'll see. Sorry, but anyone disagrees with me, let me know, and we can go back and forth about that one. Maybe I'll make a Facebook group post about why Dudley's a little brat, just to see if people want to try to argue with me about that, because... Right, I mean, yeah, he's spoiled. Anyways, moving on. We found out that Dudley loves to beat up Harry with his friends, but that Harry can usually escape because of his small, skinny frame. Of course he's skinny. He never eats. One's a beach ball and one's a stick. So, and of course Dudley loves to beat him up. We'll hear about that through the rest of the 7 books. But yeah, he's just a bully all around. Harry remembers asking about how his parents died, and Aunt Petunia tells him a car crash. A car crash killed Lily and James Potter. Sorry, I love quoting the movie. She also reminds him not to ask questions. So, your parents died in a car crash, don't ask questions. Like, this kid is 10 years old. That is absurd to just throw that at him and tell him he's not allowed to ask about it. So, and I want to point out here, I wrote a little list of some of the things we hear about that Dudley gets for his birthday. So, of those 36 gifts, they contain a new computer, a second television, a racing bike, a video camera, a remote control airplane, 16 new computer games, a VCR, and a gold wristwatch. And that is only a few of the 36 gifts, not including 2 more he's going to be getting while they're out.
And the one from Marge.
And the one from Marge, and the trip to the zoo, which we'll talk about, and things like that. So, that, and as we know, Petunia doesn't work. She's at home all the time. She's a housewife. So that opens up the question, what on earth does Vernon Dursley make? What can he make? I mean...
Well, and this is also, you gotta remember, back in the 80s, so...
True, but still, I mean...
A lot of those, games were probably...
cheaper, I understand that, but...
Because if it was in this day and age and you got those kind of gifts, I'd be like, oh... Yeah,
and then later book stuff, you hear about getting a brand new car, and... I mean, Petunia doesn't work, me and my wife both work, and we still, we still get by, you know what I mean? I mean, that's crazy. Like I said, they got to be well off. He's got to make quite a few dollars, He's got to make quite some money. So,
find out Uncle Vernon is all about keeping Harry's hair in check.
Harry's hair.
Yeah, funny, right? But every time they've tried to cut his hair, or I think at one point they take scissors to his hair and cut all of his hair except for his bangs. Be kind of a weird hairstyle. Maybe a little Grindelwald-y if he decides to slick it back for whatever reason. And then, as Dudley opens his presents, we find out that the usual babysitter broke her leg, and that the Dursleys rarely, if ever, use Harry's name, which I find to be interesting. Because we were talking a little bit earlier before we started the podcast, how kind of like Voldemort.
Right, I mean...
In the sense that, you never mention his name. I don't outrightly say it who. But whenever they've talked about him, it's, I believe Vernon usually calls him boy, or some version of that. He never really calls Harry by his name, and,
right.
They
Even
do gestures
right
towards him. They're like, oh yeah, this guy right here. But, you could just say, oh, yeah, Harry. And I feel like a lot of people would understand. Oh, right. Okay, that's who you're talking about.
Yeah, and even, when he's in the room sitting at the kitchen table, they'll be, they'll talk about him and think he's not there and use the boy. They'll be like, the boy, blah, blah, blah. So, not only do they not say his name, but they also give him zero respect. And if he tries to say anything to them while they're doing this, they threaten him, and Uncle Vernon will get all pink in the face and things of that nature. So,
Right.
something I wanted to point out also. First of all, in this little paragraph here, in this part before they head to the zoo, as we mentioned, Harry's told to watch the bacon. It's mentioned that he also ends up frying eggs. So much for watching the bacon. He's not just watching while Petunia's getting something ready. He's now cooking the breakfast all out at 10 years old. And you can argue that, it's for Dudley's birthday. Something tells me this isn't a Dudley's birthday thing. Something tells me this is a daily activity for Harry, because he doesn't even question it. He, cooks cooks breakfast. And Dudley's described as large pink face, not much neck, small watery blue eyes, thick blonde hair that lays smoothly on his thick, fat head. And Harry likes to describe him as a pig in a wig, which is my favorite description in all of the books. A pig in a wig. But Dudley is 10 years old, and he is already, described in every way possible as, fat, as a beach ball. This kid is big. So, on one end, you have Harry being neglected because he's too skinny. He probably doesn't eat 3 meals a day. He's probably lucky to eat one, and then sneak one at midnight. And then you got Dudley, who eats too much, that nobody questions what or how much of anything he eats. And he just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And you'll find out later in the series, spoiler alert, that even after he does go on a diet, one, it's only because the school uniform no longer fits them, so it's for their look, so they don't look like bad parents, not for Dudley's health. And two, when they do go on a diet, they end up feeding him only grapefruit, I believe, which, again, it's not healthy. That's not going to help you. You still have to eat, carbs and meat and things like that. So, these are just, I don't think they're the best parents either. You spoil your kid, you don't care about his health, you don't, what are you doing? Read a parent help book one time.
Pull a Rugrats.
What?
Pull a Rugrats.
Yeah.
Dr. Schlick or something like that.
Right. It's just something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's crazy. And they also, many nicknames for Dudley, which we're going to say all of them because I love them throughout the entire series. Popkin. My little Popkin. That's a fun one. But there's another one. Let me find it.
Dinky Duddums.
Yeah, it's like Dinky Duddy Dums. What? Come on, Dinky, my little Dinky Duddy Dums. Really? That is, where'd you come up with that one? That's funny. Another little note I have here real fast is Dudley struggles when they tell him that he has 2 more. He has 1 gift from Marge, makes it 37, and they're going to buy him 2 more gifts. I understand he's 10, but he struggles to figure out 37 plus 2. To the point where he can't, I think they said he screws up his face trying to figure it out. 37 plus 2. I feel like at 10 years old, he should be able to do that. Maybe that's me, but...
No, it's not just you.
Yeah, 37 plus 2. So moving on. Oh, I think you gotta finish yours. Right here.
Well, and as they're looking around to find other people to babysit, with Mr. Dursley, he suggests Marge, and you'll find out in a later book, terrible choice, because she hates Harry.
Right.
Hates
She'd probably
Harry,
put him down like she does
his
her dogs. She'd probably put him down like she does her dogs. Because she talks about her putting down the weaker dogs.
Yeah,
she's not a good lady.
She's a piece of work. Let's put it that way.
It's okay. She gets her just desserts. Also, I don't know if we mentioned it, but the reason that they have to find a new babysitter is because Mrs. Fig broke her leg. And again, I'm no neighbor of the year. I'm not going to sit here and say she should bake her a cake and bring it to her. But she hears this, and all they're concerned with is, well, now we're going to have to take the boy with us. An older lady broke her leg, and that's your concern. No compassion from these people. No compassion. Unless, of course, it has to do with Dudley. Yeah, so Harry then suggests that they can leave him there alone, but that doesn't go over well at all. Uncle Vernon basically accuses him of being up to no good, and we don't want to come back to the house in shambles. Again, this is a 10-year-old kid. Yes, 10-year-olds can do a lot of damage, but it's a 10-year-old kid that you've basically made to frighten you. I don't think he's going to uses one opportunity alone to blow up your house. He's got to live somewhere too. I mean, again, they act like Harry knows that he's a wizard and that he's magical, and he has no idea. You're punishing him for things that happen because of his magic, but he doesn't even know he's magical. So I digress because I can get into this all day. And
we're gonna get in.
We're going to get into it, but we're gonna get into it later on here. But so Dudley throws a tantrum to sway his parents before his best friend comes over because he doesn't want Harry to go. So he decides he's gonna fake cry. Harry seemingly gets lucky, and they bring him along to the zoo. When they get there, Vernon threatens Harry to not do any funny business. We also get hints of the weird things that Harry has done in the past.
And some of those things. How this goes back to the hair thing, and something I noticed about this chapter is that it repeats itself a lot. They'll touch on something, and then
bring it back
amounts to elaborate later on. But how his hair grows back, and then when Dudley and his little gang that he has chased Harry after school, he ended up on the roof of the school. That's kind of interesting, right?
Right.
How do you go from one place to another?
But the wind took him. Remember?
Oh yeah.
He tried to jump behind some garbage cans, and the wind must have.
I'm pretty sure it was
blown up on the roof. That is the most 10-year-old excuse I've ever heard.
But he's not knowing how he really got there, and then Harry decides I'm gonna bring up my dream, just because it's a weird dream, right? And that kind of irks Vernon, who shouts at him, motorcycles don't fly. And then Harry says, well, yeah, I know that because it's a dream. And later, as they walk the zoo, Harry ends up getting ice cream because, they stop for lunch, and Dudley gets one, and his friend Peter. So it's like, oh, okay, well, they're going to get some. And then a lady is asking Harry, well, what flavor do you want? So he ends up getting, I believe it's a lemon.
A lemon pop. Yeah, by technicality, because they tried to shoo him away, but the lady asked him, and of course, because they can't be looked at as unnormal, now they're forced to buy him one, which is just an utter horrible.
Well, and then, Dudley runs out of his, or at least majority of his before he wants a new one.
Right.
So Harry gets lucky.
Right. Yep.
Ends up getting the second one.
Right. Well, they make his wrong, is what it was. They made his first one wrong, so Harry got it by, again, another technicality. Seems to be the only way Harry gets anything is by a technicality.
So yeah, after they have the ice cream and whatnot, they head to the reptile house, where we get introduced to a very, very long and large boa constrictor who seems to be asleep.
Right. And remember, guys, this is not Nagini. It has been disproven, that theory. And it makes me sad. But that was a great theory. But nope, it's not Nagini. Just a regular boa constrictor. And So Dudley demands that Mr. Dursley makes the snake wake up by tapping on the glass, but the snake's like, so he ignores it. But then Harry decides to walk up to it, and he begins, talking to it and trying to tell him that don't worry about Dudley, he's a jerk. And the snake seems to be able to listen to Harry. So Harry's asking it questions, can you understand me, and things like that. And the snake is not talking, but nodding and things like that. So he's like, okay, cool, I can talk to the snake. Again, first little foreshadowing. The fact is parcel tongue. For the second book, spoiler alert. And so then Harry's talking to the snake, and Piers shouts over to the Dursleys to come over there because the snake's doing some cool stuff. When Dudley heads back, of course, not just saying, hey, excuse me, Harry, I'd like to see the snake, like a normal, civilized child. No, punches Harry in the gut, knocks him over, and starts leaning up against the glass and getting all up in the snake's face. So
Harry should have parcel-mouthed his way into Dudley getting his just desserts for that.
Right.
So, they get over there, and, the glass disappears. And I'm pretty sure their reaction is a reaction that probably everybody would have.
Right.
To be like, oh, okay, I'm going to jump back, because I don't want to, oh my god, a snake coming out. And the snake slithers out of the tank. And while he's passing by, Harry thinks he hears a voice calling out to him saying, Brazil, here I come. Thanks, amigo. Had those little S's at the end.
Right. Because he's from Brazil,
Right.
He was conceived in Brazil.
But the keeper is like, I don't know how this happened. Where does the glass go? And he even actually makes a tea for Petunia. I'm sorry that a snake escaped somehow and the glass went away. And then, Piers and Dudley made up stories about how the snake nearly killed them, but Harry's like, well, that's not exactly how it happened. Maybe nipped at their ankles or whatnot.
Right.
Kind of would have loved it. I mean, we get to see that in the movie, but it is actually, we were talking, it's a little bit different in the movie.
Right.
Because they fall into it. But
Dudley does, yeah.
Right.
In the movie, Dudley falls in, but in the book, they just leap back.
Actually, do they show Piers in the movie?
No, actually, there's no Piers in the movie.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just Dudley. Dudley and Harry and the Dursleys. Yep, they took him out. I don't think you ever see Piers. Maybe like in the fifth book fifth movie at the beginning, where him and his gang are rolling up. But I don't think you even know if it's. I don't even think they say if it's Piers or not.
What do you know? Something that we find out.
Right, difference in the movie and books.
But all of it, when they try to figure out where the glass went, and they made up the stories, Piers tells everybody that he heard Harry speaking to the snake. Which, I don't know how he figured that he was speaking to him. But that obviously does not make Uncle Vernon very happy. He's like, you know what, Harry? Go to the cupboard. You're not getting dinner.
Right. He can't even speak. So no meals. Cupboard. No meals. Week. Or I don't even know what he said. Something like that. He's like saying random words. Then he collapses into his armchair
and asks Petunia. Well, Petunia gets him some alcohol.
So brandy, a nice refreshing brandy
because that's going to help the situation.
Yeah, because he's stressed out. But yeah, I have a couple comments here. Two big ones. Number one, where did the snake learn Spanish? Like, I mean, yes, amigo is a...
Well, because it says he's not actually from
Brazil. He's born in captivity. So, like, I mean, yeah, amigo is a pretty, like, common Spanish word. But, like, he has, the way they make it seem is, like, he's Brazilian, which he is.
Yeah.
He's a Brazilian snake. But, like, if he can talk, where does the Spanish come from? Brazil, here I come, thanks amigo. The only way he learned words is from English or
his parents, but
you know,
his parents?
Britain visitors and the people that worked there. His parents never met his parents. His parents, yeah. At least, I mean, in the book, I don't remember if it says in the book, but I know in the movie, it says, he says, so you never knew your parents either.
Oh.
So, I mean, you know, so where do you learn it? I mean, again, could just be thinking way too much into it, but it's an interesting thought.
No, it is definitely something interesting.
Right. And then the other thing that I want to say...
I didn't actually think about that until you brought it up.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
oh.
And that's a smaller one. The bigger thing that I'm concerned with here, two things. One, you know, I can hear right now as I'm talking, I can hear the words I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. How do you not know if you're speaking a different language? How do you not be like, I'm saying this and I hear something different coming out of my mouth? Like, that seems a little crazy to me. I mean, I know when I'm speaking a different language. Like, you think you would realize. But here, fine, you can play that off.
Actually, they say, you know, when he does Parasatan in the second movie, kind of implies that he doesn't know specifically.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. How do you not know? But with that aside, fine, you can play that off any way you want. We know from the second movie that when other people hear him speaking Parseltongue, they hear a different language. If Piers heard him speaking to the snake, why was he not like, yo, what language you speaking? Why are you speaking a weird language to the snake? What was that? What were you saying to it? You know? I mean,
right.
He would hear him and he would be like, why are you speaking a different language? What language is that? What are you saying? Nothing. He just says, oh yeah, he's speaking to the snake.
Well, and like when we get to see that in the second movie, it's mostly hissing. So you
right.
tell me that you notice that hissing sounds like...
Right. And, you know, just from what you learn between Dudley and his gang, if, you know, you can argue that Piers heard him hissing and thinks he's speaking snake language, because Dudley and them are petty, if that is the case, I could see them, every time they're around Harry, hissing at him and making fun of him for it.
Right.
Because that's how they are. They're petty little kids. That's what they do. So that was, you know, a little bit of you know, I mean, it seems a little plot hole-ish to me, but, you know,
not
but that's fine. That's what we're
character
doing here.
And letting Dudley fall through glass. I mean, it actually is more believable that way because it doesn't say that he's right on top of the glass. So I can understand why he didn't fall through.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, we also know that Dudley's a beach ball. He probably doesn't have great reflexes, so he probably more realistically would have fallen in that glass.
Well, yeah, but also, like, if you think about it, you're leaning a little bit, right? You're really close to a glass. How do you know that the glass is gone? Like, I'm assuming it takes you, like, a minute or two to be like, oh, there's no glass. Because assuming it's very clean glass, you're not going to see scuff marks and stuff.
Right, I mean... No reflection, no, you know, glass without reflection. I mean, I think they were, like, touching the glass, too, so they could feel it disappear. But, you know, I mean, again, it's mentioned in the Harry Potter series, somebody says, you know, muggles don't see nothing, do they? Well, other than that, it's mentioned that muggles will do anything, come up with any excuse to, you know, to compromise magic and not believe in it. So it just goes into that theory. Like, there's really no other explanation. There's no glass shards, nothing. The glass was there, and then it wasn't. But, you know, muggles will do anything to not believe in magic.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah, right. Now you see the glass, now you don't. Bibbidi-bobbidi boo. So moving on, Harry waited until the Dursleys were asleep, and he snuck out into the kitchen for some food. Something tells me this is the only full meal Harry will get in a day.
Probably.
And probably, and if he ever got caught, they'd probably start putting locks on the fridge because they're insane. I'm actually surprised he doesn't have an outside lock on his cupboard where he can't get out. So I would not be surprised if they did that. So seeks some food, goes back, lays down in the bed, and he's kind of just laying in the dark cupboard all alone. And he starts kind of thinking of life and whatnot. And he starts to recall a vision that he has of a blinding flash of green light and a burning pain in his forehead. Now, he assumes it's from the car crash. But, the thing he can't figure out is where are the green lights coming from then? All those green lights, like, if it's in a car crash, it wouldn't really make any sense to have green lights everywhere. I mean, headlights aren't green.
Well, maybe like an intersection.
True, but I mean, the way he remembers it, there's blinding, flashing green lights. I mean,
Does Britain do flashing green lights?
Something tells me they don't. But if you're from Britain,
yeah, let us know.
do you do flashing green lights for your intersections?
Because we do know that there's a couple states around.
Do you guys do the arrows? I've seen the arrows sometimes, like where it's like a green arrow that goes forward instead of like a circular light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you guys do arrows or do you do circular lights? Let us know. We're not.
Or in other countries,
we're not too brushed up on our geography. Right? Yeah, other countries too. Sorry, not just Britain. All of that. Let us know. Email us or reach out to us and let us know. Do you have circular green lights? Do you have arrow green lights? Do you have anything different? We would love to know. We are not brushed up on our geography, so we would love to know. That'd be really interesting to know. So reach out to us, let us know. So he's trying to figure out where these green lights are coming from, and he starts thinking of his parents, can't remember them at all. And it's mentioned that there's no pictures in the house, and the Dursleys never spoke of them. We touched on that in chapter 1, but it's kind of crazy. Like, it's still your sister. Like, even if I had, me and my brother, are close and everything, but even if I had a sibling I didn't like, you'd think you'd still bring them up every now and then. Well, you'd have a picture of them somewhere. Nothing.
Well, and even in that, we assume that you go see your family every once in a while, your parents, and when some of the pictures of your parents have pictures of your siblings in it.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah. So what? No pictures of her parents either. No family pictures.
Or did you?
I feel like she'd cut them out though. She'd cut her out because she's petty like that. But
the early Photoshop.
Right. She is Dudley's parents or mom. So, anyways, that just seems crazy to me. I mean,
you would have thought
you think you'd have something there, but. So, the Dursleys never spoke of them. No pictures in the house. They just don't exist, and they died in a car crash. Again, if they died in a car crash, again, you don't like them, but you think there shouldn't be much hostility if they just died in a car crash.
Right.
If there was nothing. Anyways, he also, laying in bed here, he's thinking about, going out in public. And he sees these strangers that seem to like they know him. They're doing things like bowing to him in the streets, shaking his hand, things like that. And it's weird, how would they know him? He's Harry, just Harry.
Well, and then after the fact, when they're leaving,
they
just disappeared.
Yeah. He tried to take a second look, boom, mysteriously gone. That happens once, that happens twice. When that happens like the 5th time, something's involved here. They're just gone. We're not talking, walking down the road for 5 minutes, turning back, and they're gone. We're talking, he looks away at Petunia, looks back, boom, nobody there. Obviously, they're apparating away, but, again, that's the end of the chapter there. So I just have a couple end-of-chapter thoughts here. Number 1, how do strangers know that it's Harry Potter? Maybe, but
because I think they say they try to give him bangs.
Yeah, but they try to cover it up. So you gotta assume if he's out in public, they're making sure it's covered up. So, but without that, I mean, if they're apparating, we're assuming they're apparating away. They're probably apparating to that spot too. Who is in the middle of a store buying the groceries? You see somebody you talk to them, and then you just leave afterwards. You don't buy your groceries. I'm gonna leave now. Forget. I saw somebody important. I'm leaving. No, you'd finish buying your groceries. So why would you just apparate away unless that was your goal? But he was, even if you knew what he looked like as a baby, this is 10 years later. He is not a baby. He's a grown child.
Child.
Well, he's a child. He's a kid. He's a grown kid. How are you going to know what he looks like 10 years later?
Good point.
We're not talking about a 20-year-old turning into a 30-year-old and they look the same. We're talking about a baby. turn into a 10-year-old kid. They do not look anything alike. Not enough for you to recognize them walking down the street.
Right.
Now, I graduated in 2012, and I don't always recognize, high school friend when I pass them. I'm like, whoa, you look different. It's only been 6 years since then. So, but how are they, so they're recognizing Harry 10 years later. Don't know how. Again, maybe he's got a picture in somewhere on the Daily Prophet or something that updates his looks in age. I don't know if that's a thing.
Kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, that might be a thing. I don't know if that's a thing. When he's a baby, it's a baby, and then when he's a 5-year-old, it shows 5-year-old Harry, and when he's 10-year-old, it shows 10-year-old Harry. Maybe that would be the only explanation I can think of. And also, it's mentioned that Harry has no friends. Why does he have no friends? Because everyone's afraid that Dudley's gang would make their life miserable. That is so sad. 10-year-old kid abused at home, no friends.
And nobody wants to be
it's
his
a
friend.
good thing he ends up going to Hogwarts because I see a lot of drug use in this kid's future. I hate to be that guy, but I don't see nothing is going for this kid. Nothing.
No.
I feel so bad for him. And again, he doesn't even know why they treat him this way.
He might become a serial killer.
Could be. You never know. I mean, these are the kind of things that happen in this situation. But thankfully, we have a positive ending here, and he goes to Hogwarts, magical school. So, best case scenario. So that's chapter 2. And our thoughts on it. So, let us know what you guys think of that. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Answer some of the questions that we had.
And if you had some questions of your own, we'd totally appreciate hearing those questions.
If you're listening to our thoughts, you're like, "Wow, that makes sense." That makes you think of this or whatever. Yeah, send them on in. We'll put them into our next episode and try our best to answer them for you. And when I say answer, we're gonna have our segment, the hot seat. But if there are questions that don't really fit in that category, that they're general questions that you want to know the right answer to. I'll do some research. I'll get you the right answers, and we'll email you the answers. We'll put them in the podcast. But if you have questions for us, you'd like to hear us answer with our opinions, then send those into the hot seat. Speaking of the hot seat, boom, boom, boom. Are you ready?
Oh God, we're doing that right now?
We're doing it. We're going right on in.
All right.
Chapter 2 is summarized. It is talked about. It is discussed. And it is time for the hot seats. So let me pull that up real fast.
And while we're waiting, next week we will be doing chapter 3, The Letters from No One.
The Letters from Nobody. So these are 4 questions I came up with. We did not get any questions in the last week yet. So again, please send those in. Those would be super helpful so I don't gotta write out these questions. I mean, I don't mind writing out the questions, but we want to hear questions from you guys.
I guess I'm in the hot seat this week then because you wrote the questions.
Well, I'm gonna answer them too. Do my best here to answer them as with you. But I try to make them kind of thought. You should put some thought into them. So start with question 1. If you had to make up a lie of how Harry's parents died, what would you tell them? You can't pick car crash. It's already been taken. Well, we're obviously going with a non-magical way of them passing because he doesn't know he's a wizard.
You know what? It's actually pretty hard. There's 2 that I think of, but one of them is really illogical to actually happen, given that we don't know what careers they're in. But my first thing that comes to mind may be a plane crash, because they do have green blinking lights. The only problem with that is, how does Harry survive that situation?
Right.
You telling me like, oh hey, yeah, you're a baby, and we're just gonna.
We survived a car crash.
We're like, oh hey.
Or an evil wizard trying to kill him.
Well, I mean, yeah, there is that, but I mean, plane crash. Yeah, but it would make sense with the green blinking lights. Maybe abducted by aliens? Question mark?
Abducted by... No magic, but we got aliens. Don't you worry about that there, young fella. So, we're going with a plane crash or aliens?
Yeah.
Alright.
Wait, did you want to hear the one that, I know I'm going to give you a chance to answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe a nuclear explosion? But how does Harry survive that?
Yeah, that,
like maybe they were like
I'm gonna go ahead and say that probably wouldn't be the best thing to tell him. But hey, it's your answer, not mine.
That's how he gets
That's how he gets magic. the nuclear waste gives him powers. Like that episode of Family Guy?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to go there. Let me think. This is a hard one. I thought about this, and I try to really think of something that isn't, like, completely messed up, but also, like, isn't too easy for him to find out. So I guess I would go with, I really don't want to piggyback Trevor here, but something like a crash, like a plane crash, or like maybe they're on a boat.
I actually have one more, but I'll let you finish.
Okay. I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had the best album of all time. Or Kanye. But I guess I'd go with... it's hard on blinking green lights. Yeah. Alien abduction's probably the best. No. I'd probably just tell him that they were sick. Or...
Where's the green lights come in?
That's a great question. Man, car crashes actually are really good. And I know they didn't intend that to be that well, but it works really good with the green light. Cause
you want to know one that would work?
What's that?
Since they were 21, the day that they died. Raves?
Raves. Alright.
But
the babies that are...
Or maybe like...
Because Petunia ain't watching them while they're at a rave. So...
maybe like a concert of some sort.
Right. I'll just tell them somebody broke into their house and shot them in the face. Why make up that much of a lie? Like, why can't we visit the house? Yeah, he blew it up too. You somehow survived that. Yeah, green flare. Threw a green flare into it and set it on fire. They got you out just in time, unfortunately. That's how they would explain it to him.
I was going to say 4th of July, but...
4th of July fireworks, yeah. Green firework. James had set off firework and it blew up and... Okay, this is getting kind of sad. Let's move on. This is getting sadistic now. Alright, we're a Harry Potter podcast, not a murder podcast. We're going to move on here. And next question. If you could ask the snake from the zoo one question, any question, what would you ask?
What are those? No, but seriously.
These are my sandals. Oh.
No, but seriously. How did it get so big?
Yeah. That's a good one.
It does say it's... I know it's a boa constrictor, but it seems like it's been eating more than what they've been feeding it.
Right. Yeah.
Now that they've had it there for a very long time.
Right. Yeah, well, they probably did. But...
Still.
I actually have 2 questions. Well, I have 2 answers to this. One...
No, I thought you were asking me a question. I was like, oh.
No, I have 2 answers to this. One question, and I'm cheating, that's fine. I wrote questions, I can cheat. Would be, where'd you learn Spanish, bruh? I don't think that Britain has a lot of Spanish speaking in it. But, if I'm wrong... hit us up on that Hedwigs Army podcast, yahoo.com, and let me know. But I don't, something tells me that there's not a lot of Spanish speaking in Britain. But, again, I could be wrong on that. But my legit...
Spain, so there's that.
Maybe. But yeah, no, my other question would just be, can you take out Dudley when you get out? Yep. No, but for real. I'd ask them probably, what's the strangest person you've seen visit you? Describe the strangest person you've seen visit you. Could be a lot of strange people. It'd just be interesting to know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, here comes a fun one. You ready for this?
Okay.
We got Popkin. We got Dudley Dinky Dums or something weird like that. So I want you right now. You are Petunia Dursley. You make up a name for Dudley.
Like a nickname?
Like a nickname, like some Diddykins, Poppykins.
Oh my god.
Dinky Dums.
I know it's gonna sound awful, but like Duds? Yeah.
Pretty close to mine. I thought of this one. I haven't given up this one.
Yeah, it's just really hard. It's not a common name.
Yeah.
I would actually have more names for Petunia than I would for Dudley.
Give me one for Petunia, then I'll take that.
Mm,
You're Vernon, my little.
I mean, if I knew what color flower petunias were,
I think they're purple. But I'm
go
not
be
sure.
like my little purple flower.
Oh. Lame.
Ah.
I'm just kidding. It's alright. Mine goes well with the fact that Dudley's a beach ball. I call him my little Milky Dud. My little Milky Duds.
I mean, were milk duds even a thing back in that day?
Maybe. If we have a candy expert, listen to me. This is what, 1991? 1990? I should know this. I think it's 1990.
I think he was born, what, 82?
I think it was more 80.
Mm.
I promise we're Harry Potter fans. I promise. Anyways, when was Milk Duds created? Somebody let us know. When were Milk Duds created? But I think so.
It's such a hard question.
I mean, they had
here, let's look it up real quick.
Go ahead, look it up. But while you're looking it up, think of this. It is the year 2018. Dudley is turning 11 years old today. Lucky little tyke. What are 5 presents that he would for sure be getting? Let's just assume he doesn't have anything. What are 11? He would definitely be getting these 5 items.
An Xbox? Seems like the kind of kid that would be playing Fortnite or Call of Duty or something like that.
Right.
11-year-old. It says a computer on there, right?
It does, but you can get a computer in 2018. They're probably a lot more expensive in 2018 than they were in 1990s.
And probably a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard one.
What do you want to think about it? I'll go.
Computer, maybe?
Okay, computer. Do you want to think about your other 3?
Presents that he'd be getting. A phone? I feel like a lot of it would be electronic. Because I think for one of his birthdays, they actually do get him quite a bit of stuff that is electronical.
Yeah, they do. Like a remote control car and things like, or airplane, and things like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a gaming system.
Yeah, an Xbox. Well, yeah, they could get him some of the same
I
stuff.
think they get him like a Sega or something.
When 2018?
No,
he's talking about back then.
Actually, like in a later book, they like one more time go over like the birthday.
It's in this one. They talk about him getting a gaming system.
I'm saying like later on when Harry gets
6 games.
Spoiler alert! When he gets a room of his own, that like
because he gets a new TV or something because he broke the old
right,
one.
and like they say that like I think he broke the TV because he rage quit.
Yeah. Rage quitting in the 90s. You got a long ways to go, buddy. Imagine online competitive play and then,
a gold chain for his birthday.
Oh, yeah. Is that 5?
Huh?
Is that 5?
When he's wearing the gold chain.
Right, was that 5?
I
I can't remember how many you said.
I think 4, but I think the gold chain would probably be least likely. It's a hard question. These are all really hard questions.
That's the point. That's why there's only 4 of them.
Like, especially what would I give for a nick? I don't know. Maybe in England it's a little bit different, but like that's I don't know. It's a strange name.
Yeah, I've
It's
only
hard
heard
to, like,
Dudley. Well,
shorten
besides
it.
like Dudley from wrestling, there's Dudley something.
Yeah, but it's really hard to shorten. Like for Petunia, you could call her.
I think it's the Dudleys.
Yeah, actually, they all have. Like, I think Vernon is the only one that can actually shorten and it not sound weird. Like, you could just call him Vern. I actually think that happens in the book.
I don't remember. Dud. Yeah.
So what things do you think you would get into?
All right. I'm not gonna go too I'm not gonna go too as detailed. I'm gonna keep them vague. A gaming console of some sort, Xbox, PS4. I count PC in that because I play on PC. So gaming console, cell phone. I feel like you'd be an iPhone user. Maybe. A cell phone, gaming console, gaming system, a cell phone. I feel like you'd get a puppy. I feel like that's the fad nowadays. Get a puppy. Everybody wants a puppy. So I feel like I would.
Maybe?
What?
A pet in general.
A pet. There you go. A pet. Get a pet.
I mean, dogs are more common, but you know.
Right.
Cats all the way.
Get a pet. I would say.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
Can't really think of anything else electric. Because, like we were talking about, I'm pretty sure it'd be mostly maybe a basketball?
Right. Probably food. I'd say get some food.
Oh, my God.
He ain't playing basketball. He is a basketball bro. So, you know.
Yeah, 11 years
I'm going to
old.
say money. That's what kids want now. Money. You get money. You just get money. And,
Good point.
probably a birthday party at, like, Chuck E. Cheese. I'm going to say those are his 5 gifts. Because in 2018 and my entire childhood, a birthday party is a gift, alright? It counts as a gift. Counts as a gift. You want a gift and a birthday party? Well, you better set your expectations a lot lower, buddy.
Yeah.
Alright, you get a present or you get a party. Figure it out. So that's it for the hot seat.
Well, going back to the Milk Duds.
Oh, yeah.
Created in 1926. So.
Ooh! Wow, really?
Yeah.
So
I was
he
surprised to
definitely.
see it.
Yeah, so he's Milk Dud. That's my nickname for him. That's what I'm calling him from now. Milk Dud.
I mean, that is information coming from Wikipedia, relatively trustable source. So.
Good enough for me. If they're more than 70 years off, then what's the point? So that's it for the hot seat. So again, that was just my questions. If you guys have better, different questions, please send them on in. That would be so great. That'd be so helpful. But yeah, that's chapter 2. That is Harry Potter, and that is our hot seat portion. So yeah.
Don't forget,
We're gonna.
if you want to contact us, you can contact us on Twitter, our Facebook page. Our Twitter is Hedwigs _Army. Or if you want to email us, you can email us at hedwigsarmypodcast@yahoo.com.
Goes directly to my phone, so I get emails instantaneously. You won't have to wait for a reply. You won't have to, wonder if I'm gonna get it, because it goes right to me. So.
And
so
I think we already discussed about how we're on iTunes.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shout it out here, though. Hedwigs Army. We can be found on iTunes, Podbean, Castbox, TuneIn, Stitcher, and YouTube. We do post our weekly podcast on YouTube. We do other things on YouTube. We do entertainment type things. We do vlogs. We're just recorded our welcome video that we're going to be posting shortly here. So let us know what kind of content you would like to see as well. I mean, I have some surprises. I'm not going to give anything away with that, but I have some surprises for YouTube. So make sure to stay tuned into YouTube. Keep checking it. because I got some cool things lurking in the background of my mind.
And if you guys come up with, maybe a segment that you want us to add,
right? Yeah.
Feel free to let us know and be like, hey, I think it'd be really cool if you had a segment about maybe like Harry Potter jokes or something.
Yeah,
or...
I like that. So yeah, maybe we'll have our weekly Harry Potter joke.
Or nicknames for characters or something like that.
Yeah, and we are going to be doing some surprise episodes. So maybe again watch our YouTube channel. Maybe we'll throw in some Harry Potter jokes there. Maybe we'll make a video of some Harry Potter jokes. Maybe we'll go around the town telling Harry Potter jokes. I don't know. I also am not super social, so we'll see what happens there. But you never know. So yeah, make sure, wherever you're listening to us, we can be found, like I said, on almost all the podcast websites. Still working on Google Play. I'm hoping to get that up and running here shortly. But make sure to like or rate us, whatever platform you're listening to. I know some have likes, some have rating. And follow or subscribe to us. It'll help out a lot. Especially, on the business side of things. We'd help grow our channel. The more likes, the more follows, the more subscribes we get. Rate us on iTunes. We prefer 5 stars, obviously. It would help us so much. We'd be so appreciative if you guys can give us 5 stars on iTunes so we can start building, moving up those charts so we can get our podcast out there. And the quicker we can get our podcast growing, I have some great ideas for the podcast, but we gotta have some growth before I can start getting into them. I'm so excited. So thank you guys very much for listening. So until next time, Mischief managed.
Every great wizard in history has started out as nothing more than what we are now, students. If they can do it, why not us?